All right, guys, I'm here with my buddy Scotty, and I know we are 2 days late on the event slash blog stuff, but we're gonna break down the math because there was some changes anyway. We'll talk about it. Tell you guys what you're gonna need to know to max out these events, or at least to do as well as possible in these events. And yeah, we're gonna do that with the man himself, Scotty. What do you got to say, Scotty?
What?
It doesn't matter what you got to say, Scotty. Let's go. All right, so we got some weekly events. We got the boring stuff, right? We got Black Bolt is available. Black Bolt's very underwhelming character now. Used to be like a huge cannon. Used to be a tank. He used to be a good counter to very powerful war defensive teams. Scotty, when was the last time you used Black Bolt?
Well, I used to use him against Heroes as Guardians when we had Eternals on offense, so not that long ago.
True. We still have Eternals on offense, but I understand what you mean. We're using Eternals somewhere else. Yeah, we're using Eternals somewhere else now. Something secret that we can't tell you, or our leader will get mad at us. Then we got the Blitz Spider. The Ghost Spider Blitz on Jane 16th. That's supposed to be January 16th. How long did it take you to max out your Ghost Spider? And how tired of you of them raining Ghost Spider shards on us?
I don't remember. It was a long time ago. But I do see this as maybe good for newer players that need a bio team that can't invest in Rebirth right away, but it still seems like a waste for them to invest too much. But yeah, I mean, some people probably still need her.
Yeah, like unless you have Web Warriors unlocked already and you need the raid team right this second, I would invest in them. Like I'd work on Death Seed if you're not doing the Doom raids, or I'd try and get minimum stars on Rebirth, and you can do the Doom raid bio section with them. We'll talk more about the viability of the Rebirth team as we get to the events today, or the events this week, because it's pretty brutal, but there's good news. There's a silver lining there that we'll talk about. The War Saga. Okay, are you ready for hard difficulty of the War Saga? Gear tier 17, ISO level 5?
Yep, I am ready.
You're ready?
Not ISO level 5.
Yeah, that was a trick question. See, no one's ready for that. Everyone is just complacent with getting a baby apocalypse and completing the medium difficulties.
Yeah.
But, are you excited for it? I'm pretty pumped for it.
I am, because I didn't realize I was going to have Gamma at G17 for it, so I'm excited.
Nice. Yeah, I really look forward to these because it's actually, or it has been in the past, the Darkhold one was anyway, kind of challenging content when you get in there and you figure it out, and it's actually kind of fun to do that. You can do it at your own time because there's no timers on it, and there's good rewards in there, like lots of training materials and I believe some teal gear and some ions maybe. There's some stuff in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And then Coordinated Assault, the event that we always get ripped on because we like it because we're in a sweaty nerd alliance. There's no way around it, guys. This is the best way for the majority of players to be ready to unlock that baby apocalypse, if that's something you care about. Did you get a chance to look at the apocalypse kit that Tana had data mined?
I did. I watched your video and I watched his video. So,
did that make you put more value on maxing out Coordinated Assault to make sure you can have him right away?
I mean, I already put a lot of value in it, but I guess I see even more value because he does look very good, for sure.
Yeah, and he looks fun, right? He looks like he's not going to be just stuck with the Horseman team. He looks like he's got some plug-and-play potential, but me and you should talk about that in another video where we got more time to talk it out. And then we got US Agent going to the red promo store and Nemesis Shards going to Orbs. It seems like they got this cadence up a little bit, which is something I appreciate. Being able to directly promo people at a faster pace really lets you open up your regular star orbs when there's the times 10, because dark promo credits are pretty much the most valuable currency. These uber strong characters getting those dark promo red stars is a pain in the butt, but because we can upgrade all the other, I don't want to say less meaningful, but kind of less meaningful characters with the promo store faster, it's a little less painful. Speaking of that, no, we'll do that in another video. I want to talk about Kang at some point with you. Okay, so that's our weekly, just kind of stuff that's happening. But now we have, of course, the events, kind of spender events, but there's the first two, not so bad. The British invasion and Wield the Shield. So Scotty broke it down for us. And what are we looking at requirement for these two events? And what do they give us?
So, I mean, they are important because they're going to give us milestone points towards the Woman Out of Time milestone. So, I think it is really important that you max these, and it's not super crazy to do so. So, British Invasion is all based on doing raid battles. You need to do 12 a day and split between, doing Greek and Doom. I feel like that should be doable for most people. And then Wield the Shield, which is the web milestone. I think this one's going to stretch people a little bit more because you do need to spend 1,000 campaign energy every day. So hopefully people are, hanging on to their web milestones that have the energy refresh in there. But I think it is worth doing that 1,000 a day because it is already going to be annoying to get what you want out of the Woman Out of Time milestone. So I think they're both very important to max.
Yeah, and that event starts on the 18th. Right now it's the 15th. You're watching this probably the 16th. So if you save at least the next 2 days, it gives you a 200 energy to kind of plug in on whatever day you need to. 1,000 energy does feel like a tall order, but when you're doing your 450 core resets and you're claiming your 80 energy 3 times a day, so that's 240 plus 4 times 120, that's another 480, plus what you make over time, plus your web store, you might have to do one extra 100 core, and I think you'll be okay for the most part if you do that. So it does feel important, and we're going to get to that, why it's important, in this next part, the Woman Out of Time milestone. So tips for this one that I took from what Scotty was telling me earlier, you really want to put emphasis on maxing the British invasion and the Wield the Shield milestones. Otherwise, you might be expected to spend a lot more gold to hit whatever milestone you're trying to reach. And that is where the pain comes in. Spending gold on god-awful orbs. Just not great. And let's talk about that event right here. So the Woman Out of Time milestone. So we got opening the Royal Reserve Orb, opening the Strategic Reserve Orb, opening the Patriot Orb, opening the Royal Soldiers Orb. So just a bunch of convoluted orbs, it seems, and then the other milestones. So why don't we talk about what's in these orbs first, Scotty? In the Royal Reserve Orb, what do we got in there?
So, I mean, we don't know how much of everything we're going to get and what the drop rates are, but the Royal Reserve Orb has G16 and 17 mini uniques, which, I think a lot of people do need because especially they are only doing Mystic, Bio, and Mutant, which is nice because those are the three that are, the crunch right now.
Yeah.
And then the side pillars are pretty much random, it seems. Like, I don't know how much is going to be there and how important it's going to be, but that orb in itself is the most efficient orb to open as far as points, because that does give you 1.2 points per gold you're spending on it. So it is the most efficient way to spend it, and it is potentially one of the better of the orbs. The Strategic Reserve Orb, it just says mini uniques, origins, and catalysts for G14 to 17. I don't think that's going to be worth touching for pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
But then there's the two other orbs that have character shards. So the Patriot Orb, which has Captain Carter and US Agent, it says up to 20 of both of them. And then the Royal Soldiers Orb, which just has Captain Carter. I suspect the drop rates are going to be better for Captain Carter and the Royal Soldiers Orb, because it would be weird that they give us both orbs and just give us the same amount of Captain Carter with a bonus of US Agent. Like, I just don't think they would give us that option if there was no difference between the two as far as Captain Carter. But those bottom three orbs are not as efficient. You only get 1 point per gold spent. And obviously a lot of people are going to want to open, character shards, but then you potentially are going to have to spend more gold to make up the milestones depending on where you want to be.
Okay, so before we get into the math, let's talk about that a little bit. So the Royal Reserve Orb is the more efficient as far as milestone points go. Gear tier 16, 17, but we kind of need to see the percentage drop between Gear tier 16 and Gear tier 17, because Gear Tier 16 is obviously a little bit more available to people. We kind of got some stock going on. We've been getting those orbs more frequently. Gear Tier 17, obviously still a very big crunch. Useful for, in the future, getting, some Gear Tier 17 characters to max out your Apocalypse or just to own whatever mode you're trying to own in. But then you have the character shards. Now, again, another unknown. We don't know the percentage chance for those character shards, how much is going to drop. But let's just talk about those characters for a second. So the Rebirth team in Bio, we're obviously doing Doom 3.5, 100% every single day. And we are ripping through these nodes now. Have you built up your full Rebirth team? And what is your experience so far if you haven't or if you have?
I haven't fully built them, and I haven't even used them in raids because I do fine using Web Warriors and Gamma. So I just haven't felt the itch. I hear they're great. I have not, especially knowing that we had this gold spending event coming. I was not keen to waste a bunch of resources until I knew. So I may still probably wait until this event is over because this is more of a priority to me than a raid team that I don't really need right now.
Okay, so that's great information because if we can already get through the bio section in the current raid, then what is the rush to get those shards for those characters? Now I'll speak to my experience. I bought one offer for each character. I got them at 3 yellow, 3 red star without Agent Venom, and I plugged in my Red Hulk, who's only 5 red stars, so I don't have like a 7 red star Red Hulk or anything. I was able to get through the entire bio section, one-shotting everything, zero headache, very little risk. Now I do have Agent Venom, also only 3 yellow, 3 red, and I was able to do the exact same thing. I was able to get through all the nodes, though it took a little bit longer. There was one sketchy moment, but that was probably a misplay because it was the first time I ever played it. So the good news is, it seems like this team, at least in 3.5, is going to function at the very bare minimum of their stars. 3 yellow, 3 red. So once you get to that level, if you're not doing 3.5, and if you just want to have an easier time in 3.5, then you may not need to focus on the shards. Maybe you can focus on that Gear Tier 17 to have fun with other characters putting some Gear Tier 17 on them. Because another thing in my experience is this team, though huge stat monsters, isn't holding up in other modes. It's not a great war defense team. I doubt it's going to be a good Crucible defense team, especially when you face some hero mutants in there. So I don't want to say skippable. I don't want to say shelvable, but you can prioritize elsewhere if that's what your interest is. With that out of the way, let's talk about the gross math of this event, just to put in perspective about like what you can actually expect to get from their shards anyway if you were to go that route.
Okay, so maxing the event is pretty crazy. Like if you are already maxing the first 2 milestones, that pretty much leaves about 89 million points left to go. If you go the most efficient route and only open the Royal Reserve orbs, so you're not opening any character shard orbs, you're looking at spending at least 74 million on that to finish it. So obviously, probably not realistic. People are going to buy offers overdoing that, I would assume. But more realistically, I think the thing that most people want to do is, of course, get the monthly event items. So that's the Justice Medals and the Bulletproof Uniform at 40 million. So if once again you max the first 2 milestones, that only leaves about 9 million points to get. If you go the most efficient route and only open the Royal Reserve orbs, that's about 15 of those orbs, which is 7.5 million gold. If you have some more gold, over that week, you can of course switch to opening like the character shard ones, like the Patriot orb and the Royal Soldier. You're just going to end up spending more gold. They did make some changes to make milestones 36 and 37 easier to get to. So if those are your goal, because they do have some, ISO 4 in there and some augmented stuff, then you're looking at needing an additional 21 million. So that's 35 orbs or 17 million gold. More gold if you go the least efficient route of opening the Patriot orb or the Royal Soldier's orb.
Okay, so as far as the monthly item and the Justice Medals go, not terrible. It is a 7-day long event. We get, on average, I think like 1.5 million gold, if not more by now. It's definitely got up there now. So even if you enter this with 0 gold, because you don't need training materials to actually participate in this one, I think you'll be good. And then if you do have some gold, then maybe you can aim for that milestone 37, 38. But then there's a huge drop off. After that, you're adding another 22 million gold spent to get to the next one, which would be an additional 30. Anyway, there's a couple extra things below that, not worth the gold increases I am seeing at all. But this is the Captain Carter release method, it seems, with all these Captain Carter shirts. So similar to Sunfire and Echo in that sense. Yeah, now that I'm actually looking at the rewards for the first time, admittedly, it does seem that we probably want to buy her orbs enough to at least get her unlocked. So my suggestion would be to pick where where you plan to reach, spending gold, how many shards you're going to get from that, and compensate by making sure you're getting Peggy Carter from the orbs from that. Let me run something by you that I think is kind of funny. Tando Mac, the biggest spender in the game, right? Presumably from Dark Dimension Histories. He's been swept on the gold spending events the last couple times, and my assumption is that he has all his characters maxed out. So he couldn't spend gold anywhere but like the gold store and putting gear on. Do you think these orbs being bought with just gold and no other currency is a direct reach out to players like that who can't level anything so that those Krakens can actually participate? Like, I kind of foresee this leaderboard being the craziest one we've ever seen. The last gold spending event, which was, I don't know, like yesterday, wasn't that long ago. I think it was like 400 or 700 million gold. It was something crazy like that spent to get rank 1. Being that there's no training materials here, there's no limits on the gold that people can buy. What do you think we're looking at for leaderboards here? What do you think like the ranked rewards you should expect, or not you should expect, but you are hypothesizing will be?
Whew. I mean, you're right, because that has been a big limiting factor for a lot of the Krakens, is just like not having anything to upgrade. I mean, what a weird problem to have.
I know, right?
But yeah, they can truly go crazy, and also like buying offers for extra milestone points as well. I bet will be in the picture. I mean, like you're looking at just to complete the event, needing to spend at least most efficiently 75 million. But like I could see people easily spending, I don't know, like 500 million, like that. Like I know that sounds crazy, but like I could see someone like Tando Mac doing that.
Yeah. Because I keep an eye on that, and I always thought it was funny because he'd be holding his own, and all of a sudden a new Kraken would kind of like slide in there on the last day and just drop like 300, 400 million points. I think it's going to be crazy. I think we're going to see Revenge of Tando Mac in this event. I kind of hope for it.
I wonder if it's going to be blind or not, because that's the thing. Like sometimes our leaderboards are blind and sometimes they're not. I really hope this one isn't, just so I can watch.
Yeah, or we'll see at the end of the 7 days. It'll be like, yo, I can't wait to see that leaderboard. But that's it. So, like Cliff Notes, War Saga, cool. Random stuff, okay. Raids, make sure you do your raid tax. Make sure you're spending 1,000 energy, and then start hoarding your gold now and make a decision on what you want to do. You want to try and get some gear tier 17s? Do you want to get extra shards on US Agent or Peggy Carter? And set your goal, because I think that'll be a good way to guarantee whatever your level of success you're aiming for. And Scotty, you got anything you want to end the thing with? The video?
No.
All right, we'll end it with me stuttering. Bye.